Welcome to Project One. Building a strong community takes each one of us, and Project One is the place to start. 1 hour, one person, one life changed. On today's show, we'll feature an organization that is changing lives and transforming our community. So get ready to be inspired. Here's the host of Project One, Jan Johnson.
We want to welcome you today to Project One, and I just love sitting down here in our studios out at Documation's headquarters every week and get to bring to you amazing organizations that are truly making a difference in the lives of others, not only here in San Antonio, Bexar County, and surrounding counties, but for many of the organizations, they have reached outside of the borders of our state and affect our country and also around the world. And it's just such a privilege to be able to connect you with these organizations. But it really does not do it justice unless you get involved. And it's our goal with Project One is to connect one person, 1 hour, one life changed. And you've heard over the many, many weeks, which we've brought over 170 organizations to you. You've heard from many of them. Some of you have come to our mixers and you've met with them. But it really does not take on the personal feeling, and it does not take on what the whole goal of Project One is unless you get involved. So we just encourage you to listen. Go to our website, the station's website, click on the tab Project One, and look for ways that you can get involved. Find an organization that you can either relate to or maybe something that speaks to your heart, and reach out and say, how can I get involved? And on the flip side of that, we'd love to hear from you. If you have decided to get involved with an organization, please reach out to us. Email me. My contact information is at the station's website by clicking on the tab Project One. And let me know what it is that you're doing, how you're getting involved. We've had countless individuals at our mixers that have told us we're going to get involved. We want to give back in some way or another, but we want to hear, how's it going? And maybe we can have you come on and tell us about it. And in fact, on April the 7th, just right around the corner, we've got another mixer out here at Documation, and it's going to be from 4 to 6 p.m. We encourage you to come. We're going to have over 22 of the organizations that we've featured over the last few weeks be on site, be present. And if you would like, we're going to be actually doing a live radio show that night, and we'd love for you to come and tell us how your experience has been. So make sure you mark that down, April the 7th, and that is our Project One mixer out at Documation, and all of the details are right on this station's website by clicking the tab Project One. And as I do every week preparing for who's coming in studio, I always like to find a little quote. And I found this one, which is so appropriate for my guest today, but it says, how beautiful a day can be when kindness touches it. And I am sitting across from a very special young lady who I've known for a number of years, Kayla Moylan, and she is the founder and president of an organization called Lavish. And I have known Kayla since she was probably middle school, I think, and have seen her grow into this most amazing entrepreneur slash businesswoman slash rescuer, encourager, mommy, wife, friend, and mentor to women. And I just want to welcome you today, Kayla. It just blesses me to see how God has used you and your story to bring you to where you are today. And I'm just humbled to be able to help spread the word about your ministry, Lavish. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Jan. I'm so grateful to be on the show and so grateful for you and the opportunity. Man, this is just wonderful. And thank you for the sweet words. It means a lot.
So tell us about you. Let our listeners know about you. But more importantly, tell us about Lavish. Because when you first hear that, you think, oh, is it a nail salon? No, it's not. But it's so much more important. So tell us about it.
So it's a very intentionally loud word, lavish.
I love that.
1 John 3:1 says, see what great love the Father has lavished on us, that we are called children of God. Mm-hmm. And that is what we are. So God is not a God of the minimum. of just enough, but he's a lavish God, and he desires to lavish his love on all of his people, and in my heart, which is especially for his daughters.
Wow. So tell us your story.
Absolutely. So I grew up in the church. I grew up knowing the Lord. I had a family that was very involved in ministry. They actually, brick by brick, helped build a church that I grew up in for most of my young years. And unfortunately, when I was about 12 years old, I found myself molested by a family member. And it really, like any 12-year-old, it just caught me completely off guard and by surprise. I had seen just God work in so many people's lives and been a part of outreach. That's always been a passion of mine, is reaching out to those in need. And so when I found myself at 12 being the one in need, I didn't quite know what to do with that. And that, I really believe, was a work of the enemy to try and deter me from the call and the plans that God had on my life, which was actually to help women who are broken and hurting. So he tried to turn me into just a broken and hurting woman, thinking that would deter me from my purpose and would cause me to turn inward and not feel like I had anything to offer anyone else.
So fast forward a few years, beautiful children, wonderful husband, and you start a ministry.
Yes. So, the pain of my past, I really feel like God infused that pain with purpose, and brought
That's
me.
a good word.
He brought me my beautiful family. I actually found myself in a similar situation when I was 17. I was raped by a coworker, and I thought to myself, do I just have a big target on my head, that says, come abuse me? I didn't really know what to do with that. But I found myself pregnant shortly afterwards from that situation. And that was very difficult. I was only 17. But I finally kind of looked to the Lord, and I was like, okay, Lord, you have all of my days numbered. You know everything about me. You know all of the broken places in my heart that need to be mended. And I know that you're the healer, and I haven't trusted you with these broken places. But now I'm going to give you these broken places of my life. This child inside of me needs a mother and needs to know the love of my Heavenly Father. And so out of that pain and those things that happened to me, God actually birthed this ministry that I have now. And of course, I met my husband shortly after I had my daughter, and that's a whole God story in itself.
Yes, it is. And I got to witness that, and it is a made for Hallmark movie, honestly.
And so he, came on the scene, and God really used him to draw me closer to the Lord. And that was the first man I had ever known, that was interested in me, that wanted to know me for me, and that treated me with love and respect and drew me closer to the Lord and helped me grow in my walk with God. And so that was a really beautiful experience. And not only did he become my husband, but he simultaneously became the father of our daughter, Audrey. Wow. So God really redeemed what Satan meant for harm in my life and turned it around. A few years after I got married, I heard about, women working in the adult entertainment industry. And, I felt this draw to these women, and I didn't know why at the time, but I felt like I know her. I know what she's feeling. I know what that's like, because in between the period that when I wasn't healed and I was struggling with the abuse of my past, I became very promiscuous. I would seek out boys. I just needed the attention and the care, and also it was somewhat of a power trip. I felt like I was taking control of my life by making these decisions when I was very young and too young to make those decisions. And so I understood kind of that mentality of okay, I'm going to take control of my life with this choice. But what I found, which was very surprising was that 90% of women in the adult entertainment industry were sexually abused as children.
Oh, my word. And see, those are the kind of statistics that you don't really think about when you think about the adult entertainment industry. What made a person choose to go down that route?
Exactly.
And you don't realize that it's probably something that's from their past where they feel very insignificant, feel very insecure, but that makes them think that they are significant and secure.
Yeah, it's a false sense of self. It's a false identity, and it's not really coming into their truest self. And so, I could just totally relate to feeling, worthless and feeling like, okay, the attention of men helps me feel like I have value. When that's a lie. Your value doesn't ever come from another person. It only comes from knowing God and knowing who you are in Him.
Right.
Yeah.
So as we get ready, in fact, we're getting ready to go to a break. I just want to prepare our listening audience. We're going to be talking about a ministry that is reaching women in the adult entertainment industry. And you might think, well, this is not something I need to hear. We leave that completely up to you to come back after the break to be able to listen. But it's an incredible story of rescue and purpose and what Kayla and her team are doing in showing these women how they are beautiful in the eyes of the Lord and how they do have purpose outside of what they're doing and how she is rescuing them. So we encourage you, don't go anywhere. We will be right back. And again, I'm talking with Kayla Moylanen with Lavish, and you can go to this station's website, click on the tab Project One to be able to start looking at her organization and get a little picture of what it is. And we're going to come back and let you know how you too can get involved with Lavish in helping rescue women that are in the adult entertainment industry. So we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Join Project One for our quarterly mixer, where you get to meet many of the previous organizations we have featured right here on Project One. Thursday, April 5th, from 4 to 6 p.m. at Documation Headquarters. You'll get to meet with leaders with many nonprofit organizations we have featured that are looking for mentors and volunteers just like you. Come see what they're all about, hear from each of them, and be a part of our live Project One recording. Light refreshments will be served, along with tours of Documation's incredible headquarters. Plus, be in our studio where we come to you weekly. That's Thursday, April 5th, from 4 till 6 p.m. at the Documation Headquarters, 4560 Lock Hill Selma Road in San Antonio. Will you be the one that makes a difference in the life of another? Then join us April 5th. Plus, we'll have some great door prizes. We'll see you there.
We want to welcome you back to Project One, and I'm going to just jump right back in on our conversation with Kayla Moylanen, and she is the founder of a ministry and an organization called Lavish. And right before we went to the break, I used the term how her ministry is rescuing women. And Kayla corrected me, which, Kayla, thank you, because it makes me understand and appreciate more what you're doing. And you corrected me by saying...
We actually build relationships with the women in the industry, and we're providing, a connection and a bridge to community and resources for them.
So you're building that friendship, you're building trust.
Exactly.
Because if you say, I'm going to rescue, well, what if they don't want to be rescued?
Exactly.
But a lot of times they need to know that they're loved and that they have a friend, and that's building trust.
Yes.
And a lot of times when you think of someone being rescued, you rush in, you grab them, you take them out, and then what? But you build that relationship with them. Yes. So tell us about what it is that Lavish does.
Absolutely. So everything we do starts with prayer. Prayer is the foundation of our ministry, and our team and everyone who's involved with us is prayed up and ready to go. We believe that God gives us everything that we need to fulfill our purpose in our ministry. And so what we actually do is we purchase these gifts. We have these beautiful little boxes, little 4-inch boxes that we pack full of lavish gifts, things like bath and body products, spa products, makeup, hair ties, hairspray, anything kind of girly, a gift that I wouldn't want to receive for myself.
Sure.
So we don't give anything that would be cheap or...
Yeah, it's lavish.
It's lavish, exactly. And so this is a beautiful way. We buy these gifts or these items and we put them in these beautiful gift boxes, and we bring these little gifts to the women, and we just let them know, hey, we love you. You're loved, you're valued, and you're purposed.
And what was there the first time you did it? What was the reaction?
It was pure shock, I think.
I imagine.
Some ladies tried to give us money and, let me pay you for it. No, we're not looking for any money or anything in return. And they were just, what? Well, what are you doing? Like, why are you here? They were so curious.
What a great segue to go, well, let me tell you.
Exactly.
Because they opened up the door by asking, what are you doing and why are you doing this for me?
Yeah. And, I think it's a beautiful bridge to the message of the gospel. Mm-hmm. Gifts are disarming. And, when you come bearing gifts, it's as Jesus, would want us to do. You come bringing good news.
Yes.
And so we go into these places not to condemn, anyone's actions, but rather to lavish these women with the love of God. It's the love that transforms us from the inside out. And when we realize who we are, that eventually changes our actions, because we now understand our true purpose. And so we leave behind the things that may prevent us from walking in our destiny.
And so as we kind of pull in the idea of mentoring, because you've mentioned that, that the individuals that go with you, you do the pack and pray, where you pack the boxes with all these great things, and I've seen pictures of it, and it looks like you're having a blast with that, and I'm sure you could use volunteers for that to help, and people to donate nice, good, lavish items to you. But you mentioned the word mentor, and it's basically walking alongside with these girls and ladies, women, and showing them how wonderful and that they do have a purpose. And I know you have a story about one. Will you tell us about that?
Yes, absolutely. So we had a girl that we met. Her name was Vanessa. And we had actually that night we had brought some food for the ladies. Sometimes we bring food or gifts, and the ladies are always really hungry, so they come storming to the back. We spend time actually in the dressing room, because that's when momentarily the mask is off.
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
They're just who they are, and they can kind of let their hair down, so to speak, and just relax for a moment. And so that's when we engage. And so she had come, and one of our mentors asked her if she wanted prayer, and she said yes.
Really?
So we actually pray with girls all the time. Every single night we go on outreach. It's wild and wonderful.
Wow.
But anyways, so she said yes for that prayer, and but it didn't stop there. Vanessa reached out to us and came to our next group meeting, and she shared with us her dreams, her struggles, her family life, and how she felt about working in the club. And really, she felt all alone. It turned out that she was pregnant, and she was considering abortion.
Wow.
And, it just so happened that we were meeting in a pregnancy center. And so God just kind of orchestrated all these things together. And, she was financially trying to support herself as well as her entire family, her mother, her son, her siblings, doing this job. So she felt like she had no options, and she felt trapped, but she wanted out. And so we connected with her. We got her connected with a mentor from Lavish that started meeting with her regularly. And man, our wonderful mentor, Janet, she just began to love on her and pour into her, connect her with her own Bible study and church that she was attending. And this other group of ladies just now began to pour into Vanessa and encourage her and challenge her. And so Vanessa began to believe that she had options, and she started to believe that there was more to this life than what she was living. She ended up choosing adoption instead of abortion.
Wow.
She chose recovery instead of addiction.
Wow.
She began to realize her true worth, which doesn't have a price tag. And now she is in a transition home and going back to school, getting her life together. And what's really beautiful about this is she wants to go into social work so that she can help others.
Oh, my word.
As Lavish and other organizations have come alongside and helped her.
And just think, if you had not been there in that dressing room,
right,
and the person who said, I think you said the woman's name was Janet, hadn't said, "Can I pray with you?" A lot of times that takes gut to be able to be in a vulnerable state like that, to say, "Can I pray with you?" Because a lot of people will reject you. But if you're prompted by the Holy Spirit to do that, then you ask, get ready to get a reply. And how you said that because she picked her up, mentored her, spent time with her, which that's what mentoring is all about.
It's relationship.
It's relationship. You're right, Kayla. And it's becoming friends and knowing, building that trust and letting that person know, if you're mentoring them in life skills or whatever it is, that they're valuable, they're important, they can do that. You can have mentors for all different areas of life. But what the mentorship means is you just pour into them and encourage them to do better at what they're wanting to do in their life. So talk to us about, and that's such an incredible story. And at some point I would love to hear more, and we definitely want to have you back on and hear some more success stories. But tell us about what is required for a mentor.
So, I mean, really, you just, we're looking for a female that's at least 21 years of age or older.
Okay.
Someone who is a believer, who knows the Lord and is walking closely with Him. And a willing heart, just someone that's willing to take the time to walk with these women.
Because how often do you want them to get with them?
So we only ask for our mentors to get with them just at least in person once a month. And then also, following up with them weekly, connecting with them weekly by phone or in person. And, some months you may meet more often and then others are harder, just because we all get busy.
Right.
But yeah, so I feel like it's very doable if this is your heart and your passion and your desire to mentor someone. There are women waiting. And if you do want to mentor with us, we do have an application process that we go through, and also a training. So you will feel fully prepared to take on that role. But really the criteria is just a heart that's willing and ready to say yes.
And when you think about the mentors that are getting involved, it's good to hear that you train them and you prepare them, and that there's a kind of a vetting process, because not just anybody can do that.
Right.
And you've got to have the right kind of person. Does it mean that the mentor has to experience what they've gone through?
Right.
No. But to have that willingness to create a friendship and to create trust and to be that friend, and a lot of times be a good listener that they would need. And I know that with what Lavish is doing, not only are you reaching out and building that bridge in the adult entertainment industry, but there's lots of different branches that come off of that where people are affected. And there's information on your website about that where people can go to and get more information about how to get involved. And I just have to encourage you, Kayla, that what you're doing and how you took your brokenness in your early childhood and what you went through, and actually for me standing off to the side and watching you go through that, God had His hand on your life, and you took the broken pieces and you put it together. And even though your tapestry is beautiful on the outside, and the tapestry that God has woven in you through your ministry, through your husband's support, your family's support, this tapestry of Lavish is amazing. But the knots that are behind it, nobody sees. Nobody sees what all you had to go through. But if you hadn't have gone through all of that, you wouldn't be doing what God has called you to do today.
Exactly.
Well, I encourage our listeners to pray about Lavish. Pray for Kayla and her team as they go and they reach out to people in the adult entertainment industry, and just really pray for them that God will make these connections for them. But also prayerfully consider how you can mentor some of these women that relationships are needing to be formed and bridges are made to be able to help them. And again, you can get all the information by going to the station's website and clicking on the tab Project One. We'll have all the information and how you can get in touch with Kayla. And also, we would love for you to come and meet her when we have our open house and our mixer on April the 5th here at Documation. And again, this information is available on our website. We want to thank you for joining us today. And again, have a blessed day and go and make a difference in the life of someone today. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.